everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Play. Today we're checking out GigaRobo, which is a indie board game, miniature game hybrid. And I have here a playtest copy of it with some rapid prototypes, some 3D prints that I painted up. And you'll be seeing a game of giant robot combat, sort of in the vein of like Power Rangers or Ultraman or Gundam G. Yeah, I sent him pictures of what I'd painted, and he immediately sent me the intro trailer to
Gundam G, Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was all the same. I now know that he's never seen Gurren Lagann.
I don't know what any of this stuff is.
I should have sent him that.
See, in my day, we didn't have fancy animation to this stuff. We had guys in suits, literally fighting around giant styrofoam buildings. So that's, like, my generation remembers that. Your generation remembers these cool animes that we didn't have. We had literally dudes in suits that were duking it out, you know, sort of pro wrestling style. I'm sure they.
Nice.
Well, I mean,
they weren't Western.
In my era, it would have been Robotech, which isn't really the same. I mean, it is and it isn't, but it doesn't have that same like. There's two robots facing each other across like a city, like kaiju giant robot style, and they duke it out, right? It was more like a.
Now that I realize
it's funny when I said kaiju, he thought Pacific Rim. I think Godzilla, because that's a whole series. Like I'm thinking of movies from the 50s. You're thinking of Pacific Rim, but that's what this is,
I just
right?
thought that this didn't make me think of Pacific Rim.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's because they're robots and robots.
And the style is way too anime too in this one for Pacific Rim's sort of like more monsters and Cthulhu monsters and anime kind of thing. They both are. Anyway, if you're a fan of that stuff, this is the game for you. So the idea is, in the box game, this is currently, you can click links below and you can see the box game on crowdfunding and on my website and all kinds of other places. But you're picking a pilot and you're picking a robot, and you can either play it as teams of two or you can do one-on-one versus battles. You're in the middle of a city, all the environment's destroyable, so you can like collapse buildings, throw guys through buildings. All the buildings have like random effects. You can like burst a water main or cause like an electrical surge. Like there's all kinds of different things that happen when you destroy the city around you. And all of your pilots and robots have different abilities. So today I'm going to be using Takeshi Kato as my pilot. And he's like the angry brawler character that kind of gets better the more you hit him. And I'll be piloting the Dai 5, which is obviously a play on that thing.
I don't know if it is. I think it's the Dai Gurren.
Yeah.
But it might not be.
Okay.
It doesn't, I don't know. I don't know enough of these shows. I know the one.
Well, you're going to be piloting with Noriko Nagare, and the Aizen is what you're going to be flying, which is this huge, giant super mech. So I have kind of like the light, fast, punchy mech. He has the giant, like you'll see, it's bigger than all the buildings put together, like huge super brawler mech. We'll walk you through right now the basics of the game, sort of the premises and stuff like that, the basic core mechanics. We'll set up a game and we'll get started. So here's a look at all the components from GigaRobo. Now, like I said, this is a playtest copy, so these are not final components. This is not the final stuff that you'll see, but the models are all painted by me. They're not pre-painted or like that. They were just gray 3D printed plastic. Everything here is just cardboard, handmade, to make a working prototype of the game, including the rulebook. And this is Alex Cheng's Cardboard Dynamo GigaRobo. The art, all commissioned by him, beautiful anime style. He's gotten all the cards and stuff for effects printed on beautiful glossy cards. And the miniatures themselves, sculpted, I believe, in ZBrush, and then 3D printed. We've got 4 different mechs: the Ogun, the Chogo King, the Dai 5, and over here, this is the Aizen. The Aizen is the big, giant, stompy super mech. So let's break down the anatomy of the box components. So you've got the models for the game. You have your board, the city center right here. It's got starting positions all around the edge. You've got buildings in the standard matchup, so the tournament style game. There's always 15 buildings deployed. There are 5 skyscrapers and then 10 little high rises. They do different things if you destroy them based on how big they are. And they gain elevation bonuses if you're standing on top of them, stuff, because you can climb on top of buildings, which is kind of awesome. You have your pilot boards, and we've set up 2 already, so I'm just gonna show you the other 2. This is Dash's pilot board and his character cards. This is Hadrian Corto and his character cards. So I'll go through the anatomy of the cards later, but what happens is they bolt onto the robot cards. So you pick a pilot, you pick a robot, you bolt them together, and then you start picking abilities and stuff too. So 4 pilots, 4 different robots. You can mix and match however you want. It makes the game different every single time. And then you go into your deck building phase. So once you've picked a pilot and you've picked your robot, you put 2 cards together. You pick one of your 3 character traits. So everybody's got 3 different ones. So for instance, the one I've taken on Takeshi Kato here, it's honorable defeat. Even on the edge of destruction, Takeshi's tenacious nature refuses to falter. You can only be defeated by an attacker affected and inflicts 4+ damage. Basically, you don't die unless you get hit by something that does more than 4 damage, or 4 more damage. And then you pick 3 of your abilities for your robots. These slot in. I have 6 available to me, you can see here. And I've picked these 3. And what these are, these typically power up either through various status effects, which will be on your cooldown meter over here, or through your power tokens. And you have 2 sort of like things that you track, well 3 things you track throughout the game. There's your armor, that's your hit points, your power, which is your available sort of power resource, and your fighting spirit. Your power is typically used to buy bonus dice or to power up your abilities on your robot. Your fighting spirit is what you use to make attacks. It's like your piloting skill. Then you build your actual attack deck. Now every attack deck contains 1 ultimate, and there's 33 cards to choose from. A bunch of different ultimate techniques. So I took Tesla Impactor and 15 other cards, and you get to build the deck however you want. So I have a huge stack of leftovers over here, and you get to mix the pilot's cards and the robots cards. So these are all of my extra Dairaijin 5 cards, and then my extra Takeshi Kato cards as well. Your pilot cards tend to not be attacks. They're usually things like instants, so things you can use to boost your attacks or make an effect basically change in the game, whereas your robot cards are your actual like punches and kicks and shooting things. And that's really it. You've got your trackers. These little cubes are used to track damage. So for instance, I start with 30 armor on the Dairaijin, so I put a little cube here, and this other cube to 0. And then if I took damage, so let's say I take 4 damage, I go to 26, like that. And that just lets you track your damage on the damage grid. Fighting Spirit, same thing. You start at 0, you power it up throughout the game, and then you spend it to do attacks and stuff like that. This little square right here is for barriers. You can actually raise shields and stuff, and if they get damaged, they get pulled off. So I can use surge tokens to put up ion shields. I'll put tokens there to mark if I have a shield or don't have a shield. And that's the basic components of the game. So you have all your attack cards, your instants and stuff. You've got your rulebook. You've got all of your cards for your whatchamacallit, your robots and your pilots, and then all of their individual sort of ability cards. And then finally you have all the status effects and other stuff for the actual table. So impact cards are a deck of cards for what happens every time you destroy a building. If you destroy a high-rise, you flip a card, and you just do what it says on this. So this was a coolant depot. Dozens of canisters of sub-zero liquids spill across the fire, bringing overheated systems back online. So you receive 2 damage, but you remove all cards and fire from your cooldown meter. So everything comes out. Everything basically just comes back online. You get your whole hand back. So even going through a building can cause like good effects and stuff on you as well. And then you've got tons of status stuff. So these are power surges. They'll go into your cooldown meter. They cause you to not have cards cooldown. Fire does damage, panic, and then anchors. And anchors they reduce your movement and stuff because basically a giant chain trap has like clamped onto your leg and it's not letting you move. Then finally, you've got some counters for all of the effects on the table. So if you blow up a building and it leaves behind water, that'll stay in that hex. So that's a water hazard, a flood, makes you slower to go into and out of it. You remove fire if you go into it. So you can actually use the effects to like remove fire from you and stuff. And then same with these. This is an arc hazard. There's electricity going around. You gain surge tokens. And everything can affect you differently. So for instance, my guy wants to have surge tokens on him because he can actually use them to power his own abilities, and then he can actually benefit from you having them as well. So things that might be detrimental to some people actually make my guy better, and every character's like that. Different sort of like combos and abilities will proc off the actual game table itself. Lastly, you've got your handfuls of dice. You've got D12s. Those are your main attack dice. D10s are your main defense dice, and that's pretty much the anatomy of the box. So we've set up already. So I've built my hand. I've taken Takeshi Kato, like I said, in the Dairaijin 5. These are all of my attack and defense cards put to where they're supposed to be. So now you'll see down here, when you first place them down, these are your cooldown bars, 3, 2, 1. Every turn, stuff slides from left to right. So these would slide down, and this would come into my hand. Now if I played it, I would put it back to, after it was played, the cooldown spot it's supposed to be, and that's how fast your hand recycles. So when you're building your hand, you kind of want to keep things like cooldown in mind. And I have one card that doesn't even go into cooldown, Flash Strike. It's just like an easy, quick punch. It always just bounces back into my hand when I use it. We set up the board now by rolling a dice. So you both roll 1 die. I rolled high, so I can pick to place the first piece of terrain. I can place it anywhere I want, typically not on a road, and then you go back and forth placing it until they're all placed. All right, so we've set up our little metropolis here of buildings. And before we get started with the actual game, I want to go through the core mechanics. So first thing is the turn structure. It's divided into 5 phases for turn start effects. So that's when you determine if anything's affecting you at the beginning of the turn. Being standing in an effect like an arc or standing in deep water can actually have effects on you, and you determine all that stuff. Upkeep, and typically what you use upkeep for is to replenish your fighting spirit or your power. Now you can't do both at once. So with Takeshi Kato, if he chooses power, he gets to gain 3 power tokens onto here, and that lets him use these abilities like instants. Now he could immediately spend all 3 to activate his double dagger, and they'll remain active until it's somehow deactivated, because it can be deactivated by different things. Or he can gain his hearts. He has 4 hearts, so every turn he could gain 4 fighting spirit. Now you also have a rage stat. Rage is how much fighting spirit you gain when someone damages you. So if you look at Takeshi, he doesn't power up naturally on his own. He powers up by being damaged, which means that he's actually a really good candidate to pilot the Aizen, because the Aizen can soak up damage like crazy. So in this case, I have 30 armor, right? So I don't necessarily soak up that much damage, but the more I do, the more dangerous I become each turn. So that's your upkeep phase. Finally, there's the combat phase, which is 3. There's 3 things you do each combat phase. You can play cards, move your robot, and roll dice. So moving your robot, you can move your move stat. Move stat for the Dairaijin is speed 7, which means every turn he can move 7 squares. Now he can also move up to and down from buildings. So it's 1 square to move to an adjacent hex. It costs +2 to go on top of a high rise, so this would put me 1, and then 3 is 4. Or I could go 1, 2, and then pay +3 to go on top of this, and that would put me a total of 6 to be on top of this building. Now it is advantageous actually to be on top of buildings. You can attack them though, so you can actually punch buildings, and if they get damaged, they can collapse underneath you, and you'll suffer the effects as if you hit them. So being on top can make it advantageous for shooting. You have the height advantage, but doesn't necessarily be the safest place, because if you get them destroyed from underneath you, you can land in hazards and stuff too. Once the combat's done, you cool down, and that means everything on your cooldown track, whether it's trauma counters, like let's say I had some fire, and everything enters if it's a trauma counter on 3, moves to the right. That's how your hand comes back, and that's how things like these effects eventually go away. So every time I have a fire counter, for instance, on my track, I'll take a damage, and it'll cycle down, take another damage, another damage, another damage until it comes off. And then finally, turn end effects. So that would be anything like on a card or an ability, so something on my ability here, or if I was standing in a hazard that would affect my robot. We would determine that then. After that, it hands back over to the other player, and we just keep going back and forth until one of us is destroyed. So let's talk about damage real fast. I'm going to put the Dairaijin 5 right here, and we'll put Aizen right here. And we'll just do a little mock turn. I'm going to activate. Now I can take my movement before I do any swings. I can move 7 squares. So let's say that the Dairaijin 5 is going to go 1, and then spend another 3 for 4 to get on top of this building. He's happy sitting up there. So for the sake of argument, we're going to say that the Aizen's just gone. My fighting spirit is currently sitting at 20. His is currently sitting at 15. And I'm going to swing an attack at him now. So I'm going to do a V Blaster. Now V Blaster costs 8, and I play that card immediately. Now, if I go through the cards, they have all kinds of little symbols on them. A bullet means it's a range symbol, or a range attack. That's how many squares I can shoot, or hexes I can shoot it. A fist means it's a melee attack. Now, this is how many attack dice you roll. That's the number of attack dice. And a little chain means you can actually combo them out. Now, because I have 20, I could also play V Slasher on top of this. But only if I was within 1 inch. So I have 2 to 4 inches here, which means I actually have a minimum range. I couldn't combo that with this one, but I could combo it with this guy right here. So by paying 15 fighting spirit, 8 plus 7, that's the cost up in this corner, these 2 guys can get chained together, and you resolve all their effects left to right if they hit. Now the attack dice don't stack. What happens is I get 2 plus 1 for every other common, and you can do up to 3 combo cards like this. So let's say I played V-Blaster and Cloudbreaker for 15. Owen would then have the opportunity to do 2 things. He'd either pay and use any of his other attacks that have the counterattack ability. So this little symbol right here means counterattack. And then we resolve the 2 attacks against each other in sort of a face-to-face roll-off. Or he can opt not to buy any attacks and just use his defense stat. So his defense stat is 2, and that means he just rolls 2 d10s versus all my d12s to try and counteract my dice. So we'll do both examples. We'll start with the counterattack. He's going to pay 11 to do the Iron Meteor. So now what happens is he has 3 attack dice that he'll get to throw back versus my 2, 3 for this, and I also have what's called the height or positional advantage. I'm on top of something, so I get a bonus attack dice. So we roll all of our dice at the same time, and we compare the results. So you got a 12, a 7, and a 2. I got a 2, 6, 7, and 8. Now what we would do is any numbers that are exactly the same just get pulled off immediately. So both our 2s will cancel each other and those get removed from the equation altogether. Our 7s will also get removed. Now there is a case where this wouldn't happen, and that's because he's doing a counterattack. If he had any multiples of the same number, he would actually get to keep one of his while mine would be canceled. But he didn't get any multiples, so the 2s cancel the 2s and the 7s cancel the 7s. And we're left with a 12, an 8, and a 6. Now the guy with the highest individual dice roll wins, and the number of successes he has is equal to all the dice that are higher than my highest dice. So you've got a 12, my 8 and my 6 go away, and you unleash your counter. So we're gonna look at this. It has 8 damage, so it's gonna do 8 damage to me. And ignoring elevation, leap to your opponent's hex and push them 1 hex. He literally jumps on top of the building and pushes me 1 hex. And then he does 8 damage as well. So I would go to 22 damage. And he also automatically collides with the structure and destroys it. So we flip a card. That's going to be Coolant Depot, as I said before. You receive 2 damage, remove all cards and fire from your coolant meter. So literally his entire hand would go into his hand, and this would be destroyed and left with a nothing, actually. There's nothing afterwards. The Coolant Depot doesn't do anything afterwards. There's no status or anything left behind. Now let's use that same example. We'll put it all back, and we'll show you what it would look like with just defense dice. So now normal defense dice would be D10s. Same example, I'd be rolling 4 dice, once again, because I'm high, and you'd be rolling 2 defense dice, and we would compare the results. So you got a 1 and a 1, so it doesn't knock out anything, which means these go away, and I'd have 4 successes. Now, because it was a combo, I would combine my results, starting left to right. So first, I do 5 damage, and X equals the amount of power surge in your cooldown meter. You don't have any, and that would have been my attack dice, and I don't push you at all, so I just do 5 straight damage there. Then I do 3 damage, and I get X, the amount of power surges in your opponent's cooldown meter. I get plus that in damage. You don't have any power surges. So it's just a total of 8 damage, and that would resolve the attack. 8 damage, so for instance, if I took the 8 that I took before, this would go to 20, this would go down to 2. If your armor's ever reduced to 0, you are defeated and you lose the game. Now I have that special ability. You have to do at least 4 damage to kill me, otherwise I just sit there on 0. So it would take forever to go through every single card, but you got the idea, the basic idea behind attacks, behind moving around. We're just gonna jump into the game. I'm actually gonna fix the camera so you guys can see us play the cards, but we're not gonna have sort of a dynamic camera during the game, and that way you're not looking at stacks and stacks of like counters and stuff, you're just seeing the cards we're playing. Alright, so here's the angle. We're going to be seeing the city from up here, and we're going to roll off right now to see who is set up first. And it's going to be me. So I'm going to pick this square over here to put the Dairaijin 5, and you can put the Azine across from me. Okay. So I get the first turn. I have 7 movements. I'm going to choose to gain power. I get 3 power per turn. So I'm going to put 3 power tokens down right here. 1, 2, 3 during my upkeep. And then I'm going to move 7. So I'm actually going to spend those 3 immediately and activate my double dagger. So when I activate my double dagger, you may reroll your unsuccessful melee attack rolls once. So because it means unsuccessful, it means after we've paired off dice, the ones that didn't hit, I can reroll once. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 more is 7 on top of this building. And call you out, Azin. Gonna get you some. So now my meter cools down, everything shifts to the right. Whoops. And I get to pick up Arc Hunter, which is a 1 to 3 square melee attack. Sorry, a gun attack.
So I'm gonna power up my generator as well, and I'm actually gonna right away power up my Iron Fusion Stage 1 to reduce all attack damage by 1. And then I'm gonna move my 4, 1, 2, and I'm just going to go 3 and get some cover.
There you go, so you're in cover from shooting. So now the Azin is a lot slower, you can see it moving around because he's so heavy. Alright, so my upkeep again, I am done powering up. I'm going to gain Fighting Spirit, so I'm going to go to 4, as I have a heart of 4. And then I'm going to move. Now if you move on the same elevation plane, you only pay 1 to do so. So actually you can hop from building to building for 1. And I've got 6 left. I can drop down for 3 for free. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then 4 to the top. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 more puts me at the top. Then I'm just going to hang out. So sorry, I should say my cooldown happens. I get to draw this pile of cards in my hands. I've got a mix of melee attacks and ranged attacks available to me now. Go ahead.
I'm going to power up once again, and then I'm immediately going to pay those to activate Iron Fusion Stage 2 to give me higher damage. Always +1 damage from now on while it's activated. And then I'm going to move, and I'm just going to move away. 2, 3, 4, and just move all these buildings as I go. And then I'm going to cool down and now have all of my counters available.
Nice. Alright, so I'm going to power up again in my upkeep and get some fighting spirits. I'm up to 8. And then I'm going to move 1, just to jump over this building over here. And then I'm going to attack. I'm going to play Tesla Bolt for 6 fighting spirits, followed by Ionized Fire as a combo. And what's cool is Tesla Bolt increases the range of the next thing in the combo by 1, so it goes to 5. So both will be in range. Tesla Bolt is 4 to 8. Ionized Fire is 2 to 4, but becomes 2 to 5 because of the combo thing. So you have the opportunity to do any counters you'd like to do.
Nope, just going to defend.
Okay, so you get +1 defense dice for being behind that building. I get +1 attack dice for the combo, so 2 base, combo, and height advantage because I'm higher than you for 4. So you get 3d10. I get this many. So that's going to be the 5s canceling each other. Whoop. And I've got 2 successes higher than you. I get to create a crater in your opponent's hex. If this attack is played in a combo, I get the following ranges combo by +1. I do 4 damage, 5 damage total, and then you, I think, are -1 damage to everything.
Yep, so I only take 4 damage, going down to 36.
Yeah.
And then I'll also gain 6 fighting spirit.
From your rage. So I actually powered him up a little bit here by hitting him.
Okay, I'm just going to continue to power up, and then I'm going to have all of 6 fully up, so I'm going to get my Iron Fusion Stage 3, the Eisen Black, and it will increase all my attack roll results by 1 while activated.
Oh.
And being activated, it will continue to be activated until I do otherwise.
And that makes his counters gross, too.
I'm literally just going to stand here and get my Coolant 3 abilities all ready to go.
Nice. I should have actually had those too, sorry. Alright, my upkeep, I'm going to gain 4 fighting spirits. And then I am going to move 1 down for free, 2, 3, and then 6 up to here. And I'm going to punch you. I'm going to use Arc Hunter, followed by...
You have how much fighting spirit right now?
4.
Okay.
Just going to use Arc Hunter, actually. And I'm going to use it... No, I'm going to use Flash combo for 3. Ba-bam! And that is...
I'm just going to stand here and take it.
You stand there and take it, okay? So it's 3 dice normally. Height advantage for 4.
I get 3 dice because I'm in a crater right now.
Sounds good.
9, 10.
Whoa, 12, 8, 9.
The
So
12
nines and the 9s cancel each other. So
My 10 will beat the rest.
yeah,
So
so it's just a 1 success. Your success equals X. You may figure 2 times X fighting spirit to trigger inflict damage plus 2X. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do the 3 damage that I did, which goes down to 2.
Yep, and I get 6 more fighting spirit.
Over to you.
Over to me. I'm
Punch
going
you on top of a building.
use my heart and bring myself up to 18 for my fighting spirit. I'm not going to move, but I'm going to spend 16 of it to activate my Eisen Black Onyx Generator. Now what this does, it'll permanently reduce the cost of all of my cards without Eisen Black in their name by half, and then it'll remove this card from play. That is my ultimate ability.
So all of your abilities go down by half now. And that puts you at what fighting spirit?
Down to 2.
Okay.
Which seems like nothing.
So you can still attack if you want, because that was just an instance, which you put at any time.
Yep, so what I'm going to do is then going to use Power Launch, which is another instant. Normally it would cost 3, it's only going to cost me 2, so I'm going to finish off my Fighting Spirit for now. And then what this does is... Oh no, sorry. I can't do that. I'm not going to do it at all.
Why is that?
I have to do it after a successful attack.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to stand here.
Cool. Alright, so I will get my Fighting Spirit up to 5 by choosing that during upkeep for Heart. And then I'm going to move I'm going to go down 1 for free, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Don't run now.
I'm not going to make any attacks right now, so I'm just going to hang on to my cards. And these will actually cycle back up into my hand because I forgot to move them last turn. Powering up.
Back to 8 Fighting Spirit. I'm going to spend 2, 3, and 4.
Okay,
and
just
start
2 to get out of the crater.
moving towards you.
Got it, stomping through.
And I think that's all I'm going to do.
Alright, saving up your Fighting Spirit. Alright, going up to 9 Fighting Spirit right now by taking Heart. I am going to move. I'm going to go 1 and then 4 to 5 up to here. I've done my movements. And then I'm going to spend 8 down to 1 to do Tesla Bolt and Ionized Fire at you again. And that will cost me 8. So, what would you like to do? You want to counter? Or would you like to defend? You going to defend?
Yep.
Alright, so you get +1 defense dice because of the building, so you get 3 total. I'm going to get 2, extra 1 for chaining, and I'm elevated higher than you for 4. Okay, so simultaneous.
7 is my best.
Okay, force cancel each other. And then, yeah.
You'll get 1 success.
I get 1 success, and that means create a crater in your opponent's hex. If this attack is played in a combo, the maximum range is increased again, which is what I just done. So 4 damage, 5 damage total, goes down to 4.
I am then going to use another instant, which would normally cost 2. It's going to cost me only 1.
Okay.
And I gain fighting in addition to my normal rage for every point of damage you do to me.
Alright, so you're going to get
4 more plus my 6, I'm going to get 10.
10, got it. You go to 17. So you're down to 30 damage, and now start your turn. You can power up, the crater's there.
So I am going to just increase my fighting spirit again. So from 17, I'm going to go to 23. And then I'm going to spend 2 and 3 to move out. 3, I'm now close enough that things can begin happening.
You can do the punching of the first kind.
I can. So we're going to just go all out, and I'm going to use Iron Meteor.
Oh, that's where you jump?
Normally it costs 11. It's only going to cost me 6.
That's right.
So I'm going to go down to 17 again.
Okay, I've only got 1 fighting spirit, so...
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
I'm going to use Combo Chain, so an ability that normally can't be comboed is going to be comboed for another 2, normally 3. And then I'm going to combo that with Steel Geyser, which allows me to pull you for every success that I get towards me.
Okay, well,
Which is irrelevant.
I'm going to play high stakes, so I have to make a recovery roll. On a 7+, I get to play any other instant for free. I do on a 9, so I'm at 0 right now. I'm going to play Head On. Your opponent's attack is automatically successful, and it's considered to only have 2 successes. You gain 2 times your rage. So I'm going to gain 16 rage, or say 16 fighting spirit, and you are automatically successful in your attack at a 2 success level.
Okay. The success is irrelevant.
Okay.
But you're going to take 12 damage.
Okay.
And I will now leap to you. Once again.
Okay. And I get pushed.
Blam.
Down
And then you get pushed away, and then I pull you right back. So you can stay there.
So I'm just staying there. Got it.
Yeah.
Do I take any kind of... Oh, no, you do an impact on this thing.
Yep.
So it's going to be... Structural weakness. The building instantly gives way, putting all your robot's weight directly into the street, which shatters and implodes. You take 3 damage and create a crater. He just crushed the building, which I imagine he would, because he's like a high-rise himself. And you do +1 damage, I'm actually going to take 13. So I go from 30 down to 17.
Go home.
So we're not sure if I get the rage twice, I double dip or not. I'm going to say no, just to be safe, but the way that it reads, I gain the rage from the instant, not from the damage. So I could potentially have 24, but I'll just settle for the 20 at the start of my turn. So I'm going to go to 20 from powering up. I am going to move slightly. I'm going to go 1 over to here, and I'm going to start punching. So I'm going to use combos, V-Slasher to start, then Cloud Breaker, and then Flash Strike for a total of 3. That's going to put me at 5 dice.
Okay, I'm going to counter with Panzerschlag.
Panzerschlag! What's that do?
Basically, you get 1 fire per success, and I can create an opponent on your hex if I win.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that's all I'm gonna do.
All right, so I pay 17 for that, so I go down to 3. You pay 6 for yours.
I pay
so you
3 for mine.
Oh, 3 for mine because it's half. That's right.
Yeah.
So totaling up, you get a 1 and a 3, so the 3s will cancel each other.
So my dice are all +1, remember?
Oh, that's right. So this is actually a 5. Sorry, 4 rather. So it'll cancel the 4. Oh, wait.
Your dice are red. Mine are
Oh, that's right. What am I doing? So here are 4. So you'll cancel one of these 2 4s.
Yes. Do I want to make you re-roll your roll? I'm thinking I might.
Okay.
You rolled pretty okay. I wish I had the re-roll for mine.
Remember, I get to re-roll all my unsuccessful ones after we do all this.
Yeah?
Yeah, for my double dagger.
Okay. Yeah, just gonna
Cancel
go.
it. Okay, so these will cancel.
Successes.
And then I'll get the 9 and the 9, and then I get to re-roll these and try and get them higher than 7. They're not, so just 2 successes. And that means this goes back into my hand instead of going to cooldown. I'll do 2 damage. I create an arc automatically. If successful, return this card to your hand instead of your cooldown meter and inflict damage per success. So I get 2 damage, 4 damage, and then you get an arc hazard. Receive 1 surge token. Oh, sorry, start turn, you'll get this. So the arc hazard goes down here. Then this goes off. Cloudbreaker, you take 3 more damage, so you're at 7 damage. And then I don't get any pluses because you don't have any power surges. And then I get another 1, so that's a total of 8 damage. -1 for your big abilities.
6, 7.
Yep.
I'm going to use another instant.
Okay.
For 2, to create a quick barrier, just to reduce that damage by 3 more.
Got it.
And so I will only take 5 damage.
Okay. Okay, so 2 of my cards just go right back into my hand, which is super handy. I cooled down, and then I placed my cards in my cooldown meter. And it's over to you. Start a turn. From being in the hazard, you're going to get this surge token, which goes on the 3. And then you're also going to get a power token. Now, surge tokens keep you from cooling down. So one of the cards in that cooldown slot will not cool down at the end of this turn. And then everything slides over afterwards. And then you can put down... What are you going to power up?
I'm going to actually just put more power into my system here. I'm already filled with my my Iron Fusion stage. And then I'm just going to punch you.
All right, punch away.
I'm going to use a few abilities first.
Okay.
I'm going to use Knuckle Detonator for 2. That's going to go, the amount of power dice I use will increase the amount of damage I do by however many I choose to use.
Yep.
And then I am also going to use...
I think you have to play this on an attack. So you play your attacks first.
Okay, so I play the attack first and then do that?
Yeah, because then you power them up afterwards.
Alright, we'll do Corridor Impact.
Okay.
And that'll cost me 3. Put me down to 9. And, yeah.
Cool, I'm gonna spend 3 to counter with Arc Hunter.
Okay, and then I'm going to use Counter Breaker, so you can't counter.
Okay. So I'm just rolling defense dice.
And
so now I'm going to spend that then.
Yes. I have 1 more ability. I'm also going to use Rivet Rend, where you gain a panic token for whenever I do damage.
Sounds good.
And I'm going to use 3 power tokens this time when I attack you.
Okay. I am going to do nothing. Just wait. We're good. So I'm just going to defend. I get 2 defense dice.
Okay. I get 5 attack dice.
So my 10 will cancel your 10.
It's an 11. I get +1 on all my dice
that's right.
rolls.
Yeah. So that will cancel nothing. And this is a 3, which that's a 2, so nothing gets canceled. So you have 5, 6. Oh, sorry.
2 successes.
2 successes, yeah, because the 11 and the 12.
Yep.
I'm going to spend 1 for critical aim as an instance, and I'm going to force you to reroll the 11.
Okay.
The 12, I guess. Okay. So
what I'm going to do in response to that is I'm going to use Tumult Wave and make you reroll your attack roll. Or sorry, that's attack rolls. Never mind, can't do it.
Okay.
Then yeah, I'm only going to have 1 success.
What's that one success do?
So you're going to gain a panic token.
Okay.
You're going to have a random card chosen from your hand to be immediately put into the cooldown meter.
Okay, so we'll just go like this and turn them upside down for you.
Just pick that one.
Okay. So critical rage, channel rage goes to the 3.
There we go. And you are going to take 6 damage from that, which is 7 damage because of my fusion stage 2.
Alright, so I go to 10, and I gain 8 from my rage, so I go to 10 fighting spirit.
You gain 7 because you have panic.
Oh, 7 because I have panic, that's right, yeah. Because panic is -1 to all the fighting spirit I gain. So I'm actually at a total of 9 right now. Whoop. And then?
Having been successful, I'm going to use Power Launch for 2, which I can immediately throw you 2 hexes, and I am going to bash you off this building.
Okay, I'm going to play instance.
Okay.
For 4, I will go down to 3, I cannot be moved.
Then we're done.
Okay. That goes to 3. So during cooldown, Power Launch is going to stay in the 3 token, everything else is going to slide over. And it's over to me. So I'm going to gain Fighting Spirit up to 7. Up to 6 actually, sorry, because of panic there. And then I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and hide it behind this building. And be done! So you can either gain Fighting Spirit or you can ramp up.
I'm going to ramp up and get that free
tokens.
one for being on top of that electrical
Yep,
discharge.
and you also take another disruption token.
Yep. Then I'm going to spend 2 movement to move out.
2,
and then 3,
and then 4. And you could try and shoot, but I don't think you have line of sight to me because there's a building in the way.
I could shoot.
Or you could pull up the building.
I don't have any shots though.
Okay, no guns, got it. Alright, start of my turn. I still have a panic counter, so I'm only going to gain 3, so I'm going to go up to 9. Then I'm going to move. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 3 is 7. So I'm going to use Tesla Bolt and Ionized Fire as a chain attack for 8. You could counter or defend.
I'm going to use an instant. I'm going to use Sensor Smasher, where it reduces you to the half your maximum range.
Okay. Alright, so they go back into my hand because they did not happen, and it's over to you. This will cycle back down.
So you get a power token.
Power up again. Okay. There should be a bag of
you know what? No, I'll just gain Fighting Spirit.
Okay.
And I'll go back up to 8.
Okay.
And then I'm going to walk. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And I'm going to use Steel Geyser.
Because you don't actually spend them until it's successfully done with instance and stuff. So yeah, you're going to play Steel Geyser.
Steel Geyser. And then I'm also going to use Knuckle Detonator on you as well.
Okay. So Knuckle Detonator is what?
The amount of power dice I use inflicts that much more damage.
Right, okay. I am going to... spend 3. Actually, I'm just going to spend 6 for Tesla Bolt. It's a counter, so I'm elevated, so I'll get 3 dice.
Yep. I got a power boost for 3, so I get 5 dice.
5 dice, you got it. So
all my dice are +1.
Yep.
So these 3 have beaten you for sure.
Okay, so I'm going to spend 2 and go down to 1 for hit. Choose X dice from your roll and re-roll them.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that with all 3 of my dice, actually.
And then I can choose to re-roll them as well.
You can choose to re-roll 3 other dice. Did not make it better. 5, 6, 2. So you can re-roll up to 3 dice as well.
I'm not going to. I'm
Okay.
going to take my 3 successes.
Sounds good.
So I'm going to pull you towards me because I beat you. I can pull you 1 hex per success. And then you're going to take 4 damage, 5 damage because I'm at fusion state 2, 6, 7, 8 damage because of the power I used on it.
Alright. So I'm going to go down to 2. I will gain 7 from my rage. Start of my turn, I'm going to gain 3 more fighting spirit and go to a total of 11. Oh, we're not doing great, so it's time to run. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Get up on top of this thing. No. 5, 6, And 7. Over to you.
All right, I am going to power up once again because I think I'm going to try and kill you this turn.
Sounds good.
1, 2, 3. Nope, I can't kill you this turn.
That was the plan I'm throwing away.
Damn that crater. I'm still going to power up though.
Okay.
And I'm going to walk. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
4, I guess. No, I'll stay there. I'll sit behind my building.
Okay, sounds good. So stuff cycles down. 1 card has to stay there from the surge token.
Yeah.
Whichever one you don't want. I will gain fighting spirits. I have 11 currently. I have no panic tokens, so I'm going to go to 15. I'm going to move. 1, 2, 3, 6. Alright, I'm just going to hang out up there and not try and attack you because I'm going to need the fighting spirit for later. Over to you. Powering up more because he needs the power for the extra damage.
And then I'm just going to go 2, 4.
Alright, this is 2 in, 2 out. And now on your turn. Back over to me. I am going to power up my fighting spirit again now to 19. And then I am going to keep running. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Power up one more time.
So I'm filled up to 6 again. And then I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, and 4 to put you to destroy all the buildings.
Destroy all the buildings.
To put you within 3. I'm then going to use my pilot ability. At any time, I can lose X amount of armor to gain X fighting spirit.
No.
So I have to cut myself, but I have to do some math. So give me a second.
Okay. So you're taking 10 damage, which will put you down to 13.
Yep. And then I'm going to gain 10 fighting spirit to bring me up to 13.
Yep.
And then I'm going to be using these abilities. I'm going to use Iron Meteor, and then I'm going to use my combo chain to bring out a corridor impact on that as well.
Alright. So I would need to counter to try and stop this. And I don't think I can. Because you're just out of range of anything I can counter with. So I'm just going to have defense dice.
Use all the power.
So the counter breaker isn't being played, so you're going to go down to 3.
So I have 3 dice, and then 4 dice for the corridor impact boost, and then I'm going to spend 6 power tokens to get 6 additional dice.
Okay. We just realized a small mistake, but we're going to play through. You actually can't have more than 6 power tokens between your activated abilities and your grid. But we've been playing with it that way all game, so the amount of damage I'm about to take is going to be staggering, but Ace in a regular game can't do it. But that's the point of Let's Plays. We learn as we go, and you guys learn with us. So how insane will this be if you could spend 6 dice on it?
I get 10 dice against you.
Okay. So it would have either been 10 dice, or how much extra fighting spirit would you have?
If I didn't
With
spend
2 turns. 3 turns.
4 turns, because I did it the turn before too. I sat there for 2 turns.
Oh, that's right.
Up,
Yeah.
So I would have probably had an extra 24.
Alright, let's see what happens. So you get 10, I get 2 defense dice. Just roll real bad. That's all you gotta do. Let me live. Roll all less than 10. Or less than 9, because your 9s are 10s. Because you're super powered up right now. I got 10!
Well, there's at least a bunch of 12s.
So
1,
you got
2, 3,
it's all 11
4.
or more. Yeah. So you get 4 successes. How much damage is that?
11, 12.
12? Well, it's more than 4. My honorable defeat has taken place. Takeshi Kato is knocked out and the Dairaijin is destroyed.
I jump on you.
That's right, you do. You crush me. So there you go, giant robot wrestling. We destroyed some buildings. We learned about our combo cards. I have to say, this game's pretty deep. Because off camera, we've been talking a lot about how do you structure your hand? What are the best combos? And I like that. That's a good sign in any game that it engages you that way. It makes you think about, well, what would I take next time? So we were just talking about, for instance, how would you mitigate that power cost? We figured it in the end there, where you couldn't have all those power tokens. He has a different ability board that lets him play cards as if he had that stage 3.
But it only costs 1 power. It doesn't stay up, but it means I only cost the 1. So instead of spending the time building up the power again, you just build it up maybe twice at the beginning of the turn. You get number 1 on, so you take 1 less damage on all your attacks. and then you just build up power up to 5, and then whenever the turn comes up, when you need to use your ultimate or use any of your big cards,
you just spend a power token to
one
do it,
power,
basically.
and then you can go, okay, now I'm going to use it with this other ability that makes it so all my abilities get X dice added on top, and then you just...
So the Aizen has like 2 forms. It's almost like what is the ultimate forms in Pokemon? I remember something about that.
It evolves, definitely.
It evolves.
It goes stage 1, 2, 3.
That's right.
You have to go 1, 2, 3.
And there's certain even attacks you can't use unless you've hit stage 3.
Yeah.
So he really is a monster that powers up. So it's funny because my strategy of like running across rooftops and shooting you fed right into like I'm just gonna get madder. I'm just gonna get madder. Feed me rage.
You're only doing 4 damage a hit.
I can't do chip damage against him. I have to actually go in and like slug it out with him and try and kill him faster than he can power up. So having now faced Aizen and Noriko, I would know that Takesha Kato just has to go for the gutso and start trying to punch him right in the face. Because the only way I'm going to get him dead is if I hit him fast and I hit him before he can actually power up. Because even with the mistake we made with all those extra power dice, it didn't matter. You'd gotten so much of your levels going that all my damage was being reduced. All my chip damage was just nothing. It was just bouncing off.
Because I mean, I wouldn't have had to cut to 10, 13. You had 2 hit points with that, or even if we took 1 hit back, because I think I hit you with a boosted one prior to that. But you'd still be at like what, 7, 8?
7 or 8, something like that. Yep, it's a huge spread. So hitting him early on so that he's either taking damage while he powers up or he's spending all that power to try and counterattack and hit you back seems to be a way to blitz the guy and get him off. It reminds me a bit of fighting games. Like I feel like we just played a board game version of like Street Fighter. There was like counters and combos. Like even the little counter symbol is like a little 2-button mash.
Like this.
Yeah, it's
There's
like
a little lightning bolt between them.
It's like a little 2-button mash thing. It looks like a quick time event in a video game where you have to like hit X button to like make things happen. It's really cool. So you'll see this more in the future. This Let's Play is basically just so we could try it out, show you what you think of it. There is crowdfunding for this to go into full production. The game is ready to go, but if you click the link below, you can check out, or there'll be a pop-up in this corner. I think, yes, it would be in this corner up here.
I can't see
your little eye.
See, like,
there's an eye. It's okay, no, I'm pointing this way. There's a little eye and info button. It'll be up there too. So you guys can check it out. See all the pretty pictures, see some up-close stills and stuff. And then on Sunday of this week, I'll have a designer interview with Alex, who is the designer from GigaRobo. He's the guy that made it up and did all this stuff, and he'll give you more details and fill you in the design process and what he was thinking and what kind of games he likes and stuff too. So tune in for that. Owen and I are going to play another game on his channel. And that'll be linked in the video description as well, so you can check out our second game. We've learned some stuff obviously in the Let's Play, but this whole purpose of a Let's Play is that you guys get an idea of the game, not that you learn how to play it perfectly. So come along with us for another one. We'll see you next time for more giant robot combat. Till then, I'm Ash, this is Owen. Happy gaming.